Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers of all ages, welcome back to the show, Just My Thoughts. I'm your man, Eric Daniel Coughlin. Today's thought tracker is the NBA Finals. We finally made it out to the finals. Boston and Miami took a 7-game slugfest, just like I said I would, or they would. So good job, kudos to me for knowing that sport. How you doing? And then, of course, Denver swept LA Lakers, and I didn't see that coming at all. I picked the Lakers in 5, and in fact, the Denver swept the Lakers, so terrible job by me. Way to go, Eric. You sucked on that one. So that means what? That means that we have the NBA 2023 final lineup, Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. So, as you could all guess, without a shot of a doubt, if you're going to take a shot at who I'm picking to win, I'm picking the Heat. The question is, do I really believe it's going to happen? And the answer to that is absolutely. So we're going to break down everything that I see Denver proposing to defend against the Miamis, and then vice versa, break it all down. I'm just going to break down both sides of the matchup in general, but we're going to start off with the Heat because I'm picking the Heat to win the series. Now, am I picking games? Absolutely not. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's the NBA Finals. You want to see it go 7 games so the NBA, wins their money. But me as a fan, I'd like to see it go in 6. I'd like to see that Miami Heat win that in 6 games and become champions and get basketball completely over with. So, we could focus on a little bit of baseball and, a little bit of baseball and, a little bit of baseball because baseball is forever long. So that's what we'll be focusing on until September when football's back around. But anyway, let's get to it. So, as they've already been running, I'm the Heat. Speaking as the Heat, so I mean my 5. Actually, you would have to consider shaking up the 5, but my 5, I would have to pick Cody Zeller to play center for me, Bam to play power forward, Jimmy to play small forward. I'd like to see a transition and see that um, Duncan Robinson play shooting guard, and then Gabe Vincent on the point. So that pretty much puts, you know, um, it puts Martin on the bench, and that's crazy because he's been doing really, 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 really good. But that's the reason why I kind of want him to come on the bench anyway. So when you look at Denver, you have to fear them. Ideally, obviously, they just mop the floor with the Lakers, and I'm laughing about that, even though I picked the Lakers to win in 5. That's why I'm laughing. I was like, fuck, I missed that one by a mile, man. So obviously they're good. The Joker's legit, right? 7'1" beast. He's a monster. He owns the paint, and he's got a sweet little 18-foot, shot range. He's like he can shoot the ball like Carlos Boozer, and he stands just as tall as Shaq, with the body of Embiid. He's a freak, man. So you got to respect that, right? And then outside of that, you have to kind of. Here's the thing: you definitely have to respect Jamal Murray, right? But then ideally, that is it. You want to make the case that Aaron Gordon's great, but he's really not that great. He's been in the league about I'd say 9 years. He's been in the league. He's never made All Stars. He's won the dunk contest a couple of times, but that's what he's known for. He was supposed to be an upcoming flashy badass player, and really, I just don't see him being that. So Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and the Joker. Right. All right. So if I'm the Heat, obviously, I want Gabe Vincent bringing up the ball. I like the consistency of Duncan Robinson's shot is why I want to try him at the shooting guard position. Plus, he moves the ball pretty well. He's a nice passer. He don't mind cutting the lanes. It could work. So I got Gabe bringing up the ball. Running everything through Jimmy, of course, right? So, and that's the big question. On the Denver Nuggets, who is going to stop Jimmy Butler? Do you try to let the Joker guard him? Because that would be a joke. I don't see a center guarding him. So then you try to get Aaron Gordon match up against him. Let's be honest. Jimmy Butler can cook up LeBron James. So what do you think he's going to do to Aaron Gordon? Cook his ass up. So then you ask, well, do you want to put Michael Porter Jr. on Jimmy Butler? Do you see the what we're bringing up? They have to ask themselves, who do we got that's going to put on that guy? Right. That's the big question. I don't think no one on that team besides the Joker could even stop Jimmy Butler from scoring. And if the Joker stops him from scoring, he's definitely drawing the foul and going to the line. So therefore, I say this. I don't see anybody on that team that can stop Jimmy Butler. I mean, think about what he just got done doing to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. What were you talking about? I'm talking about, it took it took Boston 7 games to not even beat him. And the way it worked out was they put Tatum on him for about 3 games. They put Brown on him for about 3 games. And then they tried to collectively double team him during a game. And guess what? Jimmy Butler came out victorious. So I don't see no one on Denver Nuggets stopping him. Thank you very much. Now, that being said, can they match up otherwise, elsewhere? Yes, I just said Joker's a freak, and I just said you have to respect Jamal Murray. So they have an edge at the point guard, and they have an edge at the center. But outside of that, I don't see their wings being better. Like, if you're asking me what would happen in a three-way matchup, just talk about 3 players: Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and you put up. I'm trying to think. I mean, sometimes they use Caldwell Pope, um, and then sometimes they use Jackson's on that team. I'm really confused as who's that third guy. But I'm not confused at it on the Miami side. They're going to have Caleb Martin, they're going to have Jimmy Butler, and they're going to have, a lot of help with Duncan Robinson as far as their wing players. So the wings favor the Miami Heat big time. It's a big time favor. Look, Caleb Martin is really impressing himself to be definitely doubled his money. Whatever Miami paid for this dude, if it's 6 million a year, 7 million a year, you can erase that. It's doubled. This guy is probably going to be worth 13 million a year because of his performance in the playoffs. His ticket has went up. And I would say this: the way he's been playing and as consistent as he's been playing, he's definitely worth that. He's definitely going to be worth 12, 13 million a year, and teams would be like, yeah, I'll pay that. Miami better freaking pay that, because let me tell you something. The first time that they went to the championship, they had the exact same team they have now. What? I said they had the exact same team they have now. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry. They had help by Victor Oladipo, and they had Caleb Martin. So this is who they are, right? And now they get the opportunity to prove it, and they obviously have been proving it all off season long. I mean, let's be honest. They walked into the playoffs in a play-in situation just as the Bulls. So the Heat were primarily as good as the Bulls at going into the playoffs, and then march themselves into the championship. But like I said, this was their goal from the jump. Look, Jimmy said 2 years ago, we'll be back, and it's going to be a different outcome. I think that's primarily true. I think that whole team got better. Caleb Martin has proven that he's gotten better. Gabe Vincent's pretty freaking awesome. Scary unknown talent. Max Strus, you leave him open, he's going to fucking burn your ass up. Just ask Chicago. And of course, Jimmy Butler is the kind of guy that can average whatever he wants. And I say that and I mean that. If Jimmy Butler wanted to be a selfish player and average 42 points a game, he would do that. If Jimmy Butler wanted to be a great all-around, which is what he is, all-around player, he'd average 24, 8, and 7, being 24 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, with probably 3 steals, and that would be like a premier average. Look, Jimmy Butler is a freak and a half, and that's the truth. That's why everyone always says that, he's Michael Jordan's son, that whole comparison about Butler and Jordan, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not... Obviously, that's all conspiracy and shit. But I mean, as far as like capturing a ghost, that might not be a conspiracy. Jimmy Butler might have like some kind of connection with Michael in different ways. Maybe their uncle, nephew type situation. Who freaking knows? But he is awesome, man. Arguably, and of his draft class, he's probably the best of that draft class. And that's what's funny, because he almost didn't get drafted at all. He was almost an undrafted player in the NBA, and that's the truth about Jimmy Butler. So, all that being said, so you look about it like this. I think Jimmy Butler stays around what he's already been doing. I think he averages around 26 points I think he's going to average maybe 6 rebounds, maybe 4 or 5 assists, but 2 or 3 steals. I think he's going to help in every way possible. And I think the same thing goes for Caleb Martin. That's why I know it's crazy that I said you don't want to start him, but I don't want to start him for this reasons. It's for when, Aaron Gordon sucking wind, and for when, Jamal Murray is sucking wind and Michael Porter is sucking wind. When these guys got to come off, Martin can come in there and completely stand out and dominate. And that's why I say that. Like, you have to have the six-man position in the NBA is long forgotten, but to me, it's like the most important thing. Is like a hidden gem on every basketball team. You have to have one guy go in there off your bench and dominate while he's out there. And I think Caleb Martin's definitely that player. I don't see anybody in Denver that could stop him. Primarily, you're looking at doubling his production and resembling Jimmy Butler's numbers. Not saying that they're the same kind of guy, but I'm saying that the other matchups favor him to be that kind of guy. And he's already proven that he's going to shoot consistently. He's already proven that he's going to attack the basket. He's already proven that he's going to play defense. Caleb Martin is going, if he comes off the bench, I say that in 6 games, Miami Heat will beat the Denver Nuggets in 6 games. But they got to change it up. They got to play Zeller a little bit. Maybe utilize Kevin Love a lot more. I understand that he's getting older. That's, he probably plays what he wants to play. But me, I would like to see. I would want him to compete for that title, for that championship. Maybe not start. Maybe come off the bench, play with Caleb Martin. That might be something there, and Kyle Lowry. That also might be something there. If that's their bench coming off, Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, and Kevin Love, that sounds like a deadly trio for any team to try to stop, especially right now with the heat that they got going on, with the way that they're playing, the way they're moving the ball, the way they're thrashing through the NBA playoffs. I would say they're going to thrash through the NBA Finals. Now, let's just be real. Joker's going to dominate Bam, and you're probably going to have to double team him, but that's fine. What do you mean that's fine? I'm talking about the way the Miami Heat play. If you've been watching and keeping up with the entire playoff scheme, Miami Heat play a 3-2 zone, right? So they got 3 people. They got both wings always being ready to be defended. They got one guy protecting the middle always. They got both sides of the zone post always protected, and they primarily stay that way. The only time they switch up and play man-to-man is when they catch the other team coming out and hitting a break, right? So when they sub out, boom, Miami switches up. When they sub back in, boom, Miami switches up. You have to find a way to play against the Heat 2 different ways every freaking night you play them. That's why it's really hard to compete with these guys. That's why Boston couldn't hang with them. And that's why I don't think Denver Nuggets is going to hang with them, because even though they got the big bad Joker, I don't think it matters the way that Miami Heat plays defense. 2 people will be underneath the goal trying to stop him, boxing him out, playing their defense. Then the other wing players will be ready for outside rebounds. And then one of those wing players consistently being Jimmy Butler. The other wing player consistently being 3-point specialist Duncan Robinson, and the guy playing in the middle, extreme thrillist, one of the greatest, stories going on in the playoffs right now, Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, both stocks go up. It's not just Caleb Martin helping the Miami Heat win all these games. Gabe Vincent is helping these Miami Heat win all these games. I would put Gabe in over Kyle Lowry, hands down. Kyle Lowry is getting a little bit older, a little bit slower. Gabe Vincent's playing with his heart out, like he's got everything in the world to prove. I love the competitiveness that the Miami Heat has built within themselves. Almost like I would want to be a Miami Heat fan, but I don't. I can't wait for the season to start over and the Bulls do a lot of great things during the offseason. And we'll be talking about my Bulls the way we're talking about the Heat next season, but that's all wishful thinking, and we all got time to wait for all that. Right now, we're playing in the present. It is what it is. The Heat are there, and I do think that they are scary. I've been thinking they were scary. I didn't want to play them, in an elimination game during the play-in. I kind of wanted Atlanta. There's no kind of to it. I definitely wanted Atlanta. But Atlanta beat these guys. But like I said, it's all a theory about Jimmy Butler killing Chicago. I think that Atlanta won because Jimmy wanted Atlanta to win. That's how I feel. I feel like he's like, oh, you remember that time I told you it's either him or me, and you chose me? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cancel your way to get into the playoffs, buddy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm Jimmy fucking Butler. And that's primarily what I think happened. He pretty much killed us on purpose. Motherfucker. Sucks. Anyway, back to what we're getting at. So, playing the zone, right? Anyway, if Jamal Murray thinks he's going to attack through the middle lane, that meaning that he's going to have to go through Gabe Vincent. That's meaning he's going to have to go through Jimmy Butler and then go through Bam Adebayo to get into the lane and score. Odds are he's going to have a hard time scoring. Now, if he's going to try to go out there and shoot the three all night long, Gabe Vincent's going to be in his ear. Like I said, he's a very good defender, very one-on-one solid. And it's not like Murray's a big guy. Gabe Vincent's not a big guy. They match each other. Gabe's a little faster. They say Murray is a little bit smarter. We'd have to see. I say that's a very intriguing, little duo going on. And then as far as, the wings go, I told you, I don't know who their other wing player is. It's probably going to be Caldwell Pope. I definitely put Duncan on Pope. I definitely put my Jimmy Butler on Aaron Gordon and just pound, pound, pound all night long, every night, 6 games in a row. Give it all you got. And I think they get crowned champions because I don't see Denver Nuggets doing the same thing. Like I said, I don't see the Denver Nuggets running through that zone. I haven't seen anybody run through that zone. And I know that Joker is not that running, flashing, throw alley-oops kind of guy. You're not going to throw over the zone if that's what you're thinking. Eventually, he's going to get tired of jumping up and down. So, that being said, now that the NBA Finals are finally on the road, they're finally here, starts Thursday night, June 1st, I say Game 1, Denver. Game 2, Miami. Game 3, Miami. Game 4, Denver. Game 5, Miami. Elimination Game 6, Miami. And that's how I see it going down. Now, if you enjoyed the show, if you like what you heard, always feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling really good, you always feel free to cash at me, Erick Daniel Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Have a good day.